Okay, this is the day 2, but this is the second part of day 2. And what we're going to talk about are perimeter word problems. We're going to set these equations up. I did put the section number here, 3-6, so if you need a reference, you can go to your textbook and check out section 3-6 where it explains it and some more examples than what I've provided here. What are we going to do when we have some word problems? Any word problems, we're going to need to go through these steps. Make sure that you list these steps in your notes because you want to refer to them and go step by step by step when you're solving these perimeter word problems. Now remember, today is day 2 still. This is a part B video. So this problem number 6 picks up where we did 1 through 5 in the first day 2 video. Okay, so define my variables is step number 1. Since I'm dealing with perimeter and I'm going to be dealing with rectangles, we're going to be using W for our width and L for our length. We want to make sure that when we do these word problems that we always draw and label a diagram for us. That helps us see what we're looking at, also helps us see our algebraic expressions that we want to use. Once we get that done, then we set up the equation. You can never, ever just read through the word problem and go directly to the equation. You really need to define your variable first, and if there's a picture or diagram, you need to draw that. Once you get the equation set up, you solve it, and of course, checking to make sure that your answer makes sense. Number 6, the length of a rectangle is 6 inches more than its width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 24 inches. Well, first of all, when they tell us perimeter right here, we know that's the sum of all the sides. So we want to add that into our notes. Sum of all sides is the perimeter. Okay, and then let's say, what is the length and the width of the rectangle? I'm going straight to the question. They want to know the length and the width of the rectangle. That's what I have to find out. So I'm going to go back to the word problem and I'm going to read piece by piece. The length of a rectangle is 6 inches more, see if I can underline, 6 inches more than its width. Well, you see how it ends with width? I don't know the width. That's a big question mark. So I'm going to come over to my picture and I'm going to write width. I don't know it, so I'm going to assign it a W. So my width is equal to W. Well, if this piece here is W, and a rectangle, the side across from it has the exact same measure, so that's W. Back to that first sentence again. The length of a rectangle, okay, my length is this piece up here, is this piece right here. That length is 6 inches more than the width. Well, I now know that my width is W and 6 inches more is W plus 6. So if that piece is W plus 6, this bottom piece here is going to be the width plus 6, that length. Alright, now the second sentence says the perimeter of the rectangle is 24 inches. So I know the perimeter. I know that that's going to be 24 inches. And perimeter was the sum of all the sides. So I'm going to take all of these sides and I am going to add them up. I'm going to start off with the W plus 6, the top piece. Then I'm going to add the W. Then I'm going to add the bottom piece. Then I'm going to add the left-hand side piece. And that sum is 24 because this is right here means equals, so equals 24. Okay, write a 24. Now what I have is an equation where I've got a lot of unlike terms that I want to combine. I have this W, that W, that W, and that W. So 1, 2, 3, 4 W's. I have this plus 6 and another plus 6, so I have a plus 12. So I'm just combining terms on the same side of the equal sign, equals 24. Now that I've done that simplifying of like terms, I have an equation that we solved in day 1 video. Undo this addition, so I want a minus 12 from both sides. And I'm going to have 4W is equal to 24 minus 12 is 12. undo this multiplication by dividing, and I get that W is equal to 3. Okay, let me go back and reread the question that I highlighted. What is the length and width of the rectangle? Well, my W is saying that my width is 3. What were they talking about? Inches. So I can put inches on there. My length is W plus 6. So that means I want to take 3 plus the 6, and I have 9 inches for my length. Now let me see, does this make sense? If I have a width of 3, I have a length of 9, another width of 3, another length of 9. Does that really equal 24? Well, 3 plus 9 is 12. There's another 3 plus 9. If I add those up, yep, they really does check out if I have a width of 3 and a length of 6 for a perimeter 24 inches. So this right here is just my check work. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look. Oops, let's see here. I have to turn the page. This is problem number 7. Same kind of example as the last one that we just did. Alright, the width of a rectangle is 2 centimeters less than its length. The perimeter of the rectangle is 16 centimeters. So what is the length and width of a rectangle? You need to write that word problem down. You also need to make sure that you draw the rectangle, because you want to do these first 2 steps before we can get to setting up the equation. Okay, this question is asking me for what is the length and the width of the rectangle, same as last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my picture, and I am going to say that this is my width, and I'm going to say this is my length. Not sure what those algebraic expressions are going to be just yet, but I'm going to go back and read the problem. This one says the width of a rectangle is 2 centimeters less than the length. Since this sentence ends with length, that's the piece we don't know, so that's the piece I assign the variable to. So my lengths are going to be L. The width, let me reread it again, is 2 centimeters less than the length. 2 centimeters less than the length is L minus 2. Not 2 minus L, it's L minus 2 because it's 2 less than the length. Now that I've drawn my picture and I have my algebraic expressions labeled for all the sides, define my variable there, and I've drawn and labeled my picture, now I can go and try to set up the equation. It does say the perimeter, and remember I told you perimeter means the sum of all the sides. And it, oops, little typo there, rectangle, and 16 centimeters. So the perimeter is 16 centimeters. Is means equals. So my perimeter means the sum of all the sides. And it's going to have to equal 16. So I'm going to start off with my length, add it to my width, add it to my other length, add it to my other width, equals 16. Combining like terms, L, 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 and L, so I have 4L. Got this minus 2 and a minus 2, so I have minus 4 equals 16. I'm going to add the 4 to both sides. I have 4L is equal to 20. When I divide both sides by 4, I get L is equal to 5. Okay, so I'm thinking that my length is 5 centimeters we're using here. Therefore, my width is going to be 5 minus 2, which would be 3 centimeters. Now let me see, does this make sense? Well, if my length is 5, add it to my width, which is 3, add it to my other length and my other width, that's supposed to add up to 16. 5 plus 3 is 8. And another 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 8 does equal 16, so I know that this answer here is correct. And that ends Day 2, Part B lesson.